Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Noble, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my Orcust deck profile, or scrap Orcust, or just Orcust. I don't think there's enough scrap in there for be a scrap Orcust, so we're going to go with Orcust. But anyway, this is a really fun deck to play. I have had a blast building it and playing with it. It has a lot of combos that it reminds me of Mech Knight combos, and it's totally different mechanics, but honestly, it just really reminds me of it. And I love Mech Knights, and I've really fallen in love with this deck too. It is just an absolute blast to play. I am going to be doing test hands, not on this video, but in a little bit later, to show you guys some of the combos. I just want to be a little bit more fluid before I put that actually on camera. But this deck has some really fun combos that work really, really well. So without further ado, guys, let's get right on into this one. To start off with, we're playing 3, which I'm sure you already knew that because you saw him. YuGiOh, the Orcust Mech Knight. This card has just dropped so much. I really recommend you picking up a playset of this now. If you haven't already, it's in the $30 range. Like it might be a little bit more expensive than that, but it's really, really cheap compared to what I thought it was going to bottom out at. So this card is more affordable than I thought it was ever going to be. So definitely recommend you picking this up if you want to play this deck, or Mech Knights, or honestly even Generators. But anyway, so this card is really, really cool. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Orcust or World Legacy card from your deck to the graveyard. Then, if 2 or more other cards are in this card's column, this card is treated as a tuner this turn. If you control no other monster, you can special summon one World Legacy token. It's a dark level 1 attack and defense 0 to both players' fields and defense position. You only use each effect of YuGiOh the Orcust Mech Knight once per turn. This card is just a fantastic starter. Absolutely recommend playing 3 of this one. And it's an Orcust, so it's a target for Orchestrated Return as well. You just add that to the list. That is really cool. Next up, I'm playing 3 Orcust Nightmare. I really, really like this card a lot. It can't be destroyed by battle with a link monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field. You cannot special summon monsters except dark monsters for the rest of this turn. So do keep that in mind. Be wary. It's a great effect, but be wary that it does lock you out into the dark. And then you also send a dark machine monster from your deck to the graveyard, except another copy of this card. And then if you do all this, the targeted monster gains attack equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard times 100 until the end of this turn. You only use this effect of Orcust Nightmare once per turn. So it is a really, really great card. Definitely use it a lot. That graveyard effect is fantastic. But it does lock you to dark, so do pay attention to that. I'm playing 2 Orcust Symbol Skeleton. This card is really, really good. You can banish this card from your graveyard. I cannot say graveyard today. Oh my gosh. Then you target an Orcust monster in your graveyard, except Orcust Symbol Skeleton, and then you special summon it. You can't special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except dark monsters. You only use this effect for Orcust Symbol Skeleton once per turn. So that is awesome, just being able to get a body out onto the field. And it just really helps for extending into plays. Same thing, it does lock you out, but that's fine for the most part. I'm running just 1 Brass Bombard. This card is really good too. If you wanted to bump it up, you could. I just don't really see where the room would be, but if you wanted to try it out, that's fine. This is, where I am at least, there's no events going on because of everything going on in the world. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon an Orcust monster from your hand, except another copy of this card, and then you can't special summon monster for the rest of the turn except dark. You see a trend there. And you only use the effect of Orcust Brass Bombard once per turn. So it just really helps for getting a Orcust out of your hand if you need to do that. I'm playing 2 of the World Legacy World Wand. I just can't talk across the board today. The normal summon set of this normal summon set card cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special summon from the extra deck. You only use each of the following effects of World Legacy World Wand once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a World Legacy monster from your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, and then target one of your banished Orcust monsters, special summon it, and then you can't special summon a monster for the rest of the turn except darks. So that is they're 2 separate effects, by the way, just in case you didn't know. 2 separate effects. But that banishing and then special summoning a banished Orcust is just really, really good because you do banish quite a bit of Orcust in this deck to get things out from the graveyard. So just being able to get another that banished back onto the field, that is really, really helpful. So moving away from the Orcust package, I guess, running 1 Scrap Golem, and then also 3 Scrap Recycler. So Scrap Recycler and Scrap Golem is really, really important. You could, if you wanted to, swap out and run 3 Golem and a Recycler, but so far, I've tried that, and so far I like this better. What Scrap Golem does is once per turn, you target 1 level 4 lower scrap monster in your graveyard, and then special summon that target to either player's field. What Scrap Recycler does is this card is freaking crazy, dude. When this card is normal or special summon, you can send 1 machine monster from your deck to the graveyard. Once per turn, you can shuffle 2 level 4 Earth monsters from your graveyard into the deck and then draw a card. But you're really going to use that normal special summon effect to just Foolish Burial machine monster from your deck to the graveyard, because you can use that like 3 to 4 times a turn. Like, it's just really, really crazy. Like I said, when I do the test hands, and I will show you guys how to do that. It is really abusable. It's stupid. And just being able to get Scrap Golem out and then use that even more is really helpful. I'm running an Armageddon Knight and then also a Dark Greffer. Armageddon Knight is cool because when he's summoned, you can send a dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then Dark Greffer is really nice as well because you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding a level 5 or higher dark monster. So you get a dark to the graveyard, which a lot of times is the setup you want anyway. And then once per turn, you discard 1 dark monster and then send a dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. You just get a lot of things in the graveyard just off of this card alone. So it is really, really helpful. I'm playing one of the Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentine Sky Slasher. This card is fantastic in this deck. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, quick effect, you can banish 8 cards from the top of your deck face down. And then special summon this card, you can banish 3 cards from your extra deck face down, then target 1 face-up monster in the field and destroy it. And you can only use 1 Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentine Sky Slasher effect per turn, only once that turn. But it's just really, really helpful, especially if this thing is in the graveyard, being able to get this big body out in the field to maybe block a direct attack or to go for an OTK for a game or something. It definitely helps a lot. This is a really, really important card in this deck. Next up, we're playing an O-Lion because just it's the era of lions and stuff. A Jet Synchron and then Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. The Dragon Buster Destruction Sword is really important for that Buster lock with the Union Carrier. It's just straight up devastating on top of everything else that you have going on the field and going on. Just being able to lock your opponent out of their extra deck, like they're just, if they can't out it, they're gonna scoop. So you know, it's just really, really important. If you have like, you know, some people have like a moral stand against Buster Lock, and I get it. It's a sucky way to play. I get it, but it wins. I mean, so if you don't want to play, that's fine. You can substitute for something else. For the hand trap package, I'm running 3 Ash, just because, you know, Ash is just really, really versatile. If you want to run Drone Lock, honestly, you could do that. I've been really liking Drone Lock more lately because it just straight up locks out for the rest of the turn, which is like, you get that 1 card, but that sucks. Unless it's the 1 card, you know, just timing. Just if it's the 1 card they need, that's fine. They don't care anymore. But there's versatility, whatever really hand traps you want to run. But Ash is what I'm running right now. And then 2 Nibiru because just straight up, you don't want to have to deal with a full setup board of 8 negates. That's just not something you're going to have to deal with because the combos in this deck are great and they're fun. But they are, you know, they can be interrupted fairly easily. So if you're going second, you're going to want to just give them a token instead of just having to deal with a ton of negates and Napaloosa or something like that. So that's actually it for the monsters. There is some flexibility with the hand traps if you want to swap the scraps, if you want to do that. I have seen the Machina build as well with this. I just didn't like it as much. I've just liked this more. I'm not down in that. If you want to play that, that's totally fine. I mean, play what you like to play. But so far, I've just liked this. So that's it for the monsters. Let's get into these spells. So first off, 3 Caught by the Graves. Very, very important. Like I just said, your combos are pretty, they can be interrupted fairly easily. So, and they hurt when they do. Like they all do in every deck. But some decks are able to just power through it. This deck really isn't that much unless you just draw into a god hand. So Call by the Grave is really, really important. Next 3, you're playing 3 of the Orchestrated Return. Yes, I know this card is expensive. It is. I'm hoping it gets a reprint soon. I have already getting one announced. I can't remember. Hopefully it does. Expensive card, but it's really good. You can send an Orcust or World Legacy monster from your hand or face up field to the graveyard, and then you draw 2 cards. Like I said, Girsu is now a target for that, so it just kind of expands to the targets that we can have to play this card. Digging deep into the deck is always a fantastic thing, and it has some graveyard set as well, which is really cool. If you want to get that 1 to the graveyard, then draw 2, then use Wand's ability to banish, special summon. It's just really, really good all around. I'm running 1 Babel. If you want to run 2 Babel, that's fine. Your opponent might try to out this, so yeah, But this card is really good. Basically, it allows all of your Orcust monsters to be effects be quick effect. So, the activated you can activate the effects of Orcust monsters in your graveyard, or link monsters you control with Orcust in their original name as quick effects. So that is really, really cool. Especially the graveyard part. That's awesome. During your main phase of this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, and then add this card back to your hand. So if it is recyclable, but if they try to banish it from the graveyard or something because they don't want to have to deal with those quick effect Orcust effects, like you might want to run 2. But honestly, 1's hasn't really been an issue running 2. So next up, we're running World Legacy Succession. This is really great, especially off the Lib combo, because you can just go into the Lib, search this out, set it, activate it, and you target a monster in your graveyard and special summon it to a zone elite monster points to, which a lot of times you just get out, scrap Golem and then go from there and go into a Recycler. Really, really helpful. Also running a Foolish Burial just for some graveyard setup. And then the last spell is a Monster Reborn just because it's this fantastic extender. Just really, really helps out. So that's actually it for the spells. For the traps, just for running 1 Orcust Crescendo. This is a really fantastic card. When a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated while you control an Orcust Link monster, you negate the activation, and if you do, banish that card. So it's Omnigate. This is really good. You can banish this card from your graveyard and add to your hand 1 of your Dark Machine monsters that is banished or in your deck. That's fantastic. You can't special monsters for the rest of the turn that you activate this effect except Dark Machine monsters, so it does lock you into Dark as well. You can only use 1 Orcust Crescendo effect per turn only once that turn. If you wanted to run more, you could. I mean, having extra negates that's fine, but this is a tight deck. I don't really know where you define the room. But if you want more, negate protection and stuff like that, that's fine. And then for the last 3, just 3 impermanents, because impermanence is just a freaking amazing card. Just really, really versatile. And if you don't have access to impermanents, obviously you can run more crescendos, that's fine. But if you do, I do recommend playing them. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. The extra deck, it's also a tight thing. So far, I had a little bit of flexibility, but Dingirsu, the Orcust of the Evening Star, is really awesome in this deck. Especially with I'll just tell you. So basically, when you summon this card, it has the thing that I always praise about, the non-targeting, non-destruction removal. Like, I love that. That's what this does. When this card hits the board, you can send a card your opponent controls to the graveyard, or you can attach 1 of your banished machine monsters to this card as material. So you have options with that. And then also, you can exploit some of this card by using an Orcust Link monster you control as material. So you don't have to use a few of your cards as resources, you just use 1, which is great. And then if a card or cards you control will be destroyed by a card effect, and detach 1 material from this card instead. And then, like I said, then you can, when it summons, you can just send a card from the field to the graveyard, or you can just give it another material, which is really, really cool. Next up, I'm running 2 of the Galatea, the Orcust Automaton. I'm really trying to bling out this deck. I really want these all to be ultimate rare, but they are expensive, so not yet. But Galatea is fantastic. I'm not running 3 of this one. Honestly, I haven't really ever needed to run 3 so far in all my testing. I haven't needed one. But it's 2 effect monsters, including an Orcust monster. This link card cannot be destroyed by battle. You can target 1 of your banished machine monsters and shuffle it to the deck. Then you can set 1 Orcust spell or trap directly from your deck, which is really great, just being able to target out that return or even the crescendo if you want to do that. Babel is just really fantastic card. I really do recommend you playing 2 of these. If you want to run 3, that's fine. So far, I haven't really felt a need to run a 3rd one, though. Also playing 1 IP Masquerena. This card is fantastic. It's just really, really great, and a lot of times you're just going to end on IP and then just threaten your opponent next turn on what you can bring out. So this card is really important to this deck as well. Playing 1 Lib, because like I said, just allows you to search out that it's Succession, then you Succession, give out Golem. Just really helps out with extending your plays. And also, this card leaves the field. The same thing, you can just straight up send a card from the field to the graveyard, so non-targeting, non-destruction removal as well. You can shuffle a card on the field into the graveyard if it's used link material. So that's really helpful. I'm also running a Needle Fiber because it's just a great card. Also a Union Carry for that Buster lock, and then a Scrap Warman because Scrap Warman is crazy. And there's just a really great combo you can do with this as well. Like I said, I will be showing this a little bit later on. For the Link 3, I'm running a Longearcy the Orcust Orchestrator. This card's cool. 2 effect monsters, including an Orcust monster. This Link card cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can target one of your banished, you can target two of your banished machine monsters, and then you shuffle them into the deck. Then you can send one Link monster your opponent controls to the graveyard. So, again, it doesn't destroy, so that's really cool. This card cannot attack the turn you activate its effect. You can only use its effect along Gears the Orchestrator once per turn. And then also a Unicorn because just being able to bounce is really, really good. So next up, we're running Burl Sword. It's freaking great OTK. A Topologic Zero Boros. This card is freaking crazy. Just can straight up win you the game, as well as Access Code Talker. And then the best card in the deck, Linkuriboh. Just kidding. But Linkuriboh does help out a lot in case you need to go into that. But Access Code Talker is just really freaking good. This card is really crazy, and these can win you the game very, very easily. So that's actually it for the deck, guys. If this looks familiar, yes. So Nim showcased this, and I had a blast building this. I saw it, I was like, wow, I really want to try it out, and I have. It is expensive. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is an expensive deck to make. Orchestrated Return is sitting at like, what, 25, maybe 30 a piece right now. Of course, if you don't want to run Access Code, if you want to run like Appaloosa or something like that, or not even that, if you want to run Abramax, that's fine. There is room for flexibility with that. I know these cards are more expensive. But this has just been a blast to play. I really do recommend you picking up this deck if you were able to do that and playing with it. I love these combos, man. I could just sit here and duel this deck all day. It's just a lot of fun to play. But that's it, guys. If you've watched it so far and you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. It allows my videos to circulate around YouTube a little bit more, and I'm still a very small YouTuber, so I do greatly appreciate that. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Also, would greatly appreciate that. And go ahead and hit that bell so you can become part of the notification team so you can get notifications for deck profiles just like this one. And I'll say it again, I've said it multiple times, I will be doing test hands for this deck. I just want to make sure it's a little more fluid so I don't waste too much of y'all's time. So be looking out for that pretty soon. But yeah, guys, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.